In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a playable 3-string guitar using this wooden dowel right here, left over from another project, and this can of beans from HEB that represents some of the things I like about Texas. Borracho beans, Shiner Bock beer, culture of Texas. Let's get started. In order for these tuning keys for this tin can guitar to be able to be attached to this neck, I'm going to have to cut a flat surface on part of this round dowel so that the tuning keys will go in one side and come out the other. So I'm going to have to cut along these lines that I marked right here to create a flat space so that these can be attached. I think I'm going to do that on the bandsaw. Alright, I've got both sides of my wooden dowel that I'm going to use for the neck of the guitar. I've flattened out both sides so that I can mount these tuning keys. But before I do that, I think I'm going to put my little bridge, a little piece of wood that I have here. It's 1.5 inches long, and I'm going to cut a slit into this and then slip that in there, and that'll be what will hold up my 3 strings. To cut the slit for the wooden bridge, I'm going to use just a handsaw. I could do it on the bandsaw, but since some of you may not have one, you can pick up one of these for a few bucks at Home Depot if you don't already have a handsaw. And the important thing on this, cutting the slit, I'm going to do it right at the point where it starts to slope down to my flat side, from the round to the slat to the flat. And I want my cut to be parallel to this flat line right here, horizontal line right there. So, and using a handsaw, you pull towards you slowly to make the initial cut. And then since these only cut on the pull side, you can lift it up and push it and reset it and pull again. Instead of trying to go back and forth. If you try to go back and forth, it's not really gonna cut really well. Once you have it going, then you can. There. Alright. I want my little bridge to match the roundness of this so that all the strings will be at the same height off of the neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to this side and I'm going to mark it with a pencil where I need to cut it so it'll have the same roundness. Alright, now that I've got my mark, as you can see on there, I can go to the sander and sand it down to make it match the roundness of the dowel. Alright, now that I've got my slot cut into the neck of the guitar, I've also rounded off the little piece of wood to hold the strings. And as you can see, it fits right in that slot. And we won't glue it in or anything, because when it wears out, we can just pull it out and replace it with another piece of wood. And if you notice, it's a little bit higher above the neck. That way the strings can sit. Right now, I guess it looks like about 1/8 of an inch. And that'll make it a good height to be able to use a slide on it, and also to press down the strings if you want to fret it. All right, now that my bridge is in there, it fits nice and snug. I'm going to cut some little grooves into the wood so that the strings can stay in the little grooves and not move side to side. I'm just going to use a hacksaw for that, and just be super careful and gentle. First groove I'll put right in the center. Yeah, got to go a little slow so that the saw doesn't slip. Just back and forth, just a little groove. Doesn't have to be very deep at all, just so the string will rest in there and won't slide from side to side. So I'll put one there, and then another one on this other side, about 1/4 of an inch. Whoops. And then on this other side, about 1/4 of an inch from the center as well. And that'll be the grooves for my 3 strings. All right, now that I've got my little wood bridge cut out and put in, I can do my holes for the tuning keys. And that is like a 1/4 inch drill bit. So I'm just going to use this drill gun with a 1/4 inch bit in it and drill 3 holes. I'll do one on top, which will be like the top side of the guitar neck, and just go straight down right at about the center from the bridge to the end of the headstock. Right, that went all the way through. And then my other 2 holes, I'll put one here closer to the end of the headstock, about 1 inch away. And then the other one closer to the wood bridge. And I am pretty much just eyeballing and making like a little triangle between the 3, equal distance from that center one. All right, now that I've got my 3 holes drilled in, my tuners fit, and these get attached with these. They have these tiny little holes, 2 little screws that come with it, and so I'll put those in and screw them down. All right, now that I've slipped them in there from the back, I have to attach them with these tiny little screws. And what I'm going to do is pre-drill the holes, because these being so small, they break easily. So it's better to pre-drill the holes before attaching them. So I'm just going to use a little tiny drill bit that's a little bit smaller in diameter than the actual screws. And then there's already some holes through the metal. So, and then I'll just a tiny bit into the wood. Not very deep, because I don't want them to come out through the other side. All right, now I can just use a hand screwdriver to put them in all the way. As you can see, they go in fairly easily. Did not come out through the other side. I'll do the same thing for all the other ones. There it goes. And then we'll be done with that. Okay, they're attached and they turn easily. Once the strings are on there, I'll be able to tune it up with these. This little cover also came, this little white little washer came with the kit. Oh yeah, by the way, these tuning keys, you can buy 6 of them for like $7 on Amazon. Just look for mechanical guitar tuning pegs or mechanical guitar mechanical tuning keys. Alright, the next thing I need to do is attach the neck to the can, but before I do that I need to get the can ready, and the can also needs a bridge, a saddle bridge that they call for to hold up the other end of the guitar strings off the neck. And I need to measure from this point to where this bridge is. From bridge to bridge, I'm going to do it at 24 inches, which is kind of one of the standard scales that's used for guitars is 24. So I'm going to do it at 24. And I think what I'm going to do is cut a little hole that my little wooden bridge can slip into, and also make it so that it can be taken out when it needs to be. 24 inches. My 24 inches is on the can right below the word borracho. So on this can, I am going to make a little cut right below the word borracho, which is where the 24-inch mark falls. I'm going to use the hacksaw to cut the little slit into the metal, just about an inch long. All the way through the tin can. Alright, looks like I'm through. I need to open it up a little bit, and I can use this screwdriver to just make the groove wide enough for the little piece of wood to slip in. Alright, that looks like that should work right there. And what I'm going to do also is I'm going to mark with a pencil into the wood so that I can cut a groove into the wood underneath as well. Alright, that's done. Alright, I've got my little groove cut into the can that I can slip my little wooden bridge into, and I also cut it at the same spot on the piece of wood on the neck. The next thing I want to do is to this can, I need to put a couple more holes, because I'm gonna actually put this little deal right here, which is a piezo pickup. It's a cheap electronic pickup that you can install on these little cigar box guitars to plug it into an amplifier, the input jack. And you can buy this also on Amazon. Look for piezo pickups, and about $7 a piece. Relatively inexpensive, and of course it's not going to put out the highest quality sound, but that's not really what we're after. I like the nice tinny homemade sound that you get from these. So I'm going to drill the holes into the can so that I can install this. The input jack is 3/8 inch diameter, so I'm going to use a 3/8 inch diameter drill bit, and I'm going to put the input jack on the bottom of the can, so when I'm holding it up I can just plug it in to right here. As long as it doesn't interfere with the neck, which is going to be inside of this spot right here, so I'm thinking about maybe right there would be good. Let me see, I'm going to center it just to make it look neater. Right below the picture of the bowl of beans. Now the drill bit should just go straight in. Alright, went through. That should be the right size. Yep, but of course I'm going to put it in through the inside. Now I need to do my hole for the volume knob. Alright, the volume knob is a little bit smaller diameter hole. It's going back to the 1/4 inch drill bit, so I'm going to use that to drill the hole for this. And on that, I think I want it, if I'm holding the guitar like this, I think I want that volume knob maybe like somewhere right here. So I think right where it says 31 ounces, that's where I'm gonna drill the hole. I need to punch a little hole so that my drill bit won't slip. I'll do that with this. I don't want to dent it, which I did a little bit, but oh, perfect. All right, let's see if that works. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it. There it goes. All right, and then the input jack goes through right there. So now, and this will end up resting inside of there to pick up the sound, but for now I need to put the little nuts that hold it in place. Okay, so there's a little tiny washer that'll go right there, and then the nut. I'll just hand tighten it for now, but you can tighten it with a plier or a little tiny wrench. Okay, that's in place. Now, same thing for this little washer. And then the nut. And this one, same thing. This one you may want to tighten it quite a bit, that way when you're turning your knob the whole thing won't spin on you. Then they also sent it with this nice little volume knob that just slips right in there. And there you go, you got your volume knob, input jack, it kind of sticks out quite a bit, so I think what I may do is put a spacer so that this ends up being closer, so the knob ends up being closer to the body. Alright, I used another little nut to as a spacer on the inside of the can, so that now the knob sits right on top of the can. There's not a bunch of space in between. So this will be the volume knob once it's all together. Okay, what I want to do now is go ahead and attach my neck to the can, and I want it centered right on the HEB, and I want to make sure that this flat part is even with this front face of the can. So I'll look at it this way. That should be about right there. And I'm going to use these screws right here, these little brass screws. And what I'm going to do first is pre-drill the hole. So I'm going to put one right at this, right at the above the E on the HEB. And I pre-drill the hole so that it won't split the wood. Probably have to use the power drill to drive that in, but I'll get it started with this hand drill. I mean with this hand screwdriver. It's actually going in pretty easy. I'll just finish it with this since I've already started it. And I want to get it as flush to the top of the can as possible. Don't want it sticking up very much at all. Alright, that's nice. As you can see now, it's almost ready. I just have to put the saddle bridge and the strings. I'm going to add one more screw to the back right here into the dowel. That'll keep it drill a hole into the bottom, going right into the wooden dowel. And I want to go in as deep as the as my screw. So that should be about it right there. Let me make sure. Alright. Now I can put my screw in. And I'll just go ahead and use this hand screwdriver since it's here. Alright. Okay, this should be ready for, I still need to do my little wooden saddle bridge in here, and then we can put the strings and it should be playable. Okay, what I did, I took another piece of that little walnut wood and I shaped it out, put a little curve on it on the sander, on the saw, Also did my little grooves on top for the strings, and then made it so that it'll fit into this little groove that I had cut into the can, and it'll just rest in there. Doesn't have to be permanently installed. That way, if it does break, or you can replace it. So there, the saddle bridge is on there. It'll keep the strings high enough above so that once they're on there, it can be strummed. Now, to attach the strings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some holes into this can at an angle so it comes out from the bottom and on the side of the can and then up this way. So I'll use a small drill bit to drill the holes. The holes will be small enough so that the string can fit through the guitar string, like this one, so this little red holder at the end won't slip through the hole, but the string will go through. Alright, so I got this little tiny bit on the drill, and I already drilled the first hole right there. And then I need to do the other two, and they're spaced out so that it lines up with the groove on the on the saddle. So I'm gonna go ahead and do another hole here. And then the third hole right here, the other side of it. Oh. Alright, now that I've got my little holes drilled into the end of this, I can put the guitar strings. Start off with the thinnest gauge one. Thread it through, and so it should hold on like that. There's one, and the next one. Next string, and finally the third string, which is the thickest gauge of the three. Alright, so there's my 3 guitar strings. I'm going to start with the middle one. And I'll hold it down on the center groove of the little wooden bridge. I'm going to put it through this second one, or the top tuning peg. Alright, and then to get that on there, I wind it this way, then underneath if I can get my fingers to work right, and then pull it back that way. And then when I tighten it, it'll tighten on itself. Okay, I got it in both of the grooves. May have to dig this a little deeper, but as you can hear, just need to put the other 2 strings and dig my grooves a little deeper. I decided to go ahead and add frets to this little tin can guitar, And I'm using zip ties, these little thin zip ties to make the frets. Super cheap and easy to install on the guitar, and the cool thing about it is that you can easily move them to adjust them, so make sure they're in the right spot to create the right notes, and easily you can replace them very easily.